I'm not the fastest. I'm not the swiftest. I'm not the sharpest. I'm not the sharpest musician in a group of musicians where everyone's playing sharp. How come I... Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. Josh, just don't pay any attention to me. Now, let me ask you a question.
Let me see if I can get into that character.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're sort of on.
Well, be honest with me. It's not like you can fool me at this point.
Well, I'm not trying to fool you.
But I'm saying...
I'm just saying it's not really important.
Josh, I know that you've accused me in the past of wasting time at the top of the show. And the only reason why I'm doing it is I'm stalling because I really am hungry. Oh, what did you want me to be 20 minutes late or eat properly? Which one?
Do both.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I pitched
be 20 minminutes late and then show up and eat if you would.
Right.
You couldn't have eaten that in the car.
But a lot of the listeners have been saying, right? Why don't I eat more on camera?
Yeah.
So, I have to finish this.
What's nice is the chewing and the heavy nose breathing that comes along with it.
It reminded me of a topic for the show.
Yeah.
See, if I subscribe to this show, this is the kind of thing I would love to hear, these before the show eating. You know what I mean?
If you're going to do something with real content, save it.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to do something with real content. Andy, if you can do something with real content, why don't you save it till after you eat?
Till it's usable. What is it you're eating?
Akashi.
Akashi bar. And you're making yummy noises. Which is...
If you were to do an intro to the show. How come you cut me off if I do more than 2 seconds of abba-gabba-doo-ja, bing bang, ga-da-ba-za-za-za, busy bizoy, bazoy. That was not bad. What's it called?
Scat?
Yes. Busy bazoy. Why would you make a sound like Zoy?
It's not bad for something named after shit.
I don't laugh. You have to form your own bathroom humor podcast. I'm out. I don't agree with them, folks. Oh, we don't have to know this. Well, okay. One more bite.
Finish. One more bite. Back away.
I'm all finished. And I'm not going to even do my usual thing.
The teeth sucking? Is that the next part?
Wait, is that what I was doing last week?
I don't know. That's usually what comes now. I can see the body language of teeth sucking.
I don't want to have these kind of personal habits.
No.
I don't want to chew with my mouth open. So that's why I do the thing where it's just as creepy. I make a gulping sound.
Yeah. No, the moaning is good. Much more polite.
You know, you mocking me and cackling.
You mocking me and cackling.
It's a little bit much. A little bit much. Okay, that was it. I was going to do more, not controversial, but more, I disagree with you.
Confrontational?
Yeah, but the kind of confrontations that work, they're like you talk about subjects like, I don't believe women should vote, and then the phones light up.
All right, let the sparks fly.
Yeah. But my idea, well, how are you? Good evening, Josh.
Hi, Andy. How are you, man?
I'm pretty good. Now, I want to say one thing.
Okay.
But I'll wait till later on in the show. Go ahead.
Really? If you only have one thing, maybe we should stall.
Yeah. I took notes. Now, there's a lot of things I didn't. Now, I was the latest for this podcast night that I ever have been, and I want to apologize again.
I accept your apology.
This way, looking in your eyes.
I'm looking in your eyes, and I'm telling you, I accept your apology.
That's better. That's better. I mean, not better what you did.
I'm past it.
Yeah, that's really good. That's not better what you did, but better that I actually... See, my idea of an apology is 8 insults.
Yeah.
Oh, I could have gotten here earlier.
But you're too big a dick.
Yeah,
Essentially.
Yeah, but I had
flower it up a little.
But I was talking to a big star on the phone. Would that be good?
It would be par for the course.
It would not be par for the course. What if I had gotten up the phone with a big star?
I don't know, but you sure as hell would talk about it.
That was Richard Lewis. I think I did talk about it.
Yeah, you did.
But I haven't talked to anybody on the phone since like 4 or 5 years ago.
I've noticed because of your voicemail.
What does it say?
It says this is full, first of all.
Oh, God damn it.
Secondly.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. I'm not, people would say after this much therapy, I think after this much therapy, people would think I'm probably not going to be that much more healthy.
Yeah, I don't
With
know.
all my
I don't know
problems.
if your voicemail is full, by the way.
If it's not full, it's 97%.
Yeah.
If it's not full, there's a sign telling me soon it will be full. So either way, it's, you know what I mean?
It's a lose-lose.
Do you use any of those expressions like lose-lose or my bad? For real, I mean.
Do I use them
For real, that I would then come back and go, said no, like people would, I'm sure there's someone right now in the world saying, said no one ever, and has no idea that's horribly hack.
No, I'm sure there are those people still. It hasn't worked its way through,
The other side of that is why am I so judgmental about just because people have, maybe I could back off. I was thinking maybe I could back off the being judgmental part of my life.
It might save you some heartache, but it doesn't, no skin off my ass.
Here, I'm listening to you talk now, and I'm thinking to myself, what's his angle? When is he going to drop the boom? What do you think? Do you think? Here's my question to you, because I feel that you are intuitive or something. Do you think that my problems could be because I went on a sailing trip and someone did lower the boom on my head?
Wow.
And maybe it was when my mother said, "It's all smooth sailing from now on. There's the beach. Nothing can happen now, Andy." Baza boom.
The SS pun sucker. Toot toot.
Well, I learned what the head. I was right, and I told my wife, and I love when I'm right when I tell my wife things.
Sure.
I'm so happy about it. It indicates disturbing mental behavior. Well, was I right?
No.
Was I right? Why do I care? Why do I have to be right? Don't you love to give someone information that they didn't know?
Sure.
And
I love being right.
Yeah, but you're not. You probably do it.
I don't circle back for it like you did, like you like to do.
Yeah, but do you get like all butterflies in your stomach, and you're gonna go, "Oh, she won't be able to come back from me after this one."
No,
that's not so. All right, now
but I don't spend all that time telling myself I'm wrong the way you do.
Look, you should try it. I've been spending my life. Those are the dogs, by the way. They live. All right, sue us. Most of the time I've spent arguing myself over whether the experience I just had was positive or negative. They like me. They hate you. Why did I say that to them? That's no problem. Yes, it is a problem.
Right.
And nobody's in the room with me when I'm having that
No,
conversation.
I understand, of course.
But today I was the latest I've ever been to the podcast, and I thought I wouldn't be late today because as I go, part of my curing my problems, which is all from, I wonder if, do you think the late is all from the OCD or the self-esteem issues also play a role?
Here's the only move that really was like questionable to me.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
And if I'm right about this, you will then justify me thinking that when I send this message,
Yeah, exactly.
3 minutes.
Yeah. So you give me 3 minutes, sorry, when you're 15 minutes away.
Yeah. As I was doing this, I had two reactions.
Like, why do that?
Because okay. I'm like a Trump. I'm figuring if I lie to you in that moment,
Right.
say whatever it needs.
Archaeologists find his phone. They'll look back and think he was only 3 minutes late.
For some reason, I think I don't want you to be more mad than you are, but you know that it's more annoying to say that I'm not going to get there. But I justify it in my mind, but there's no justification. I say to myself, I really think I'll be there in 3 minutes.
Yeah, but you know what? you have this you've created this picture of
That's
me
true.
tapping,
Not you.
standing here. No, but in your head,
Yes,
I'm
that's
standing
true.
here with my arms crossed, tapping my foot.
I know.
Starting at 9.
That's the worst thing about it. Right.
And I'm not. I'm home. It's not like you stranded me outside a theater at 0
You mean
degrees.
like in Annie Hall when she shows up late to see Sorrow and the Pity?
I'm at my house. It's not that
Yes.
big a deal.
But you know what but here's what you're saying. If I were you and I was going to be not meaner, but if I was going to tell the truth, I'd say, Andy, I don't care that you're late. I mean, I'm not saying I don't care, but I live here. Not the biggest deal in the world. But you know what I hate? Deception. Deception.
Exactly. It's like I'm like your dad. Just don't lie to me.
Yeah, exactly. Why do I have to further torture you? Right. I'm late, and you can bet that when I give you the time now.
The late's baked in, as they say with any horrible thing Trump did. It's baked in.
And then I also said I'm going to bring him a gift. But none of these things are justified.
Right.
None of these things justify tardy behavior.
And I already have a lamp.
And the reason, so what happens is
Okay, hey, it's getting a little Michael Vick in here. Get out.
we're gonna get letters from that Michael Vick comment.
Oh yeah.
People are gonna say,
Yeah.
dear,
We have such a sensitive crowd.
dear Thought Spiral, there was a Michael Vick incident and it happened. And when you said to your dogs, let's not get Michael Vick in here, how do I know you weren't conducting a dog fight at your house?
I hate to Vic pick.
Do they ever say I don't have a dog in this fight?
Yeah.
Well, they shouldn't have said that to begin with.
No, it's bad.
Here's what I'm saying. It's the worst thing in the world. If two birds or chickens or animals on their own said, I'll meet you later on, wagering's okay, that would be a different story. I went that long for that joke? God damn it, that was terrible.
I was once, we were on location for Freaks and Geeks, and we were filming this like liquor store scene, and I was outside, and this guy had like a Rottweiler. He was walking, and another guy in a car pulls up and goes, "Hey, you ever fight him?"
Did the owner of the Rottweiler ever fight the Rottweiler?
No, meaning do you enter your dog into dog fights?
Oh, because I'm stupid. I wouldn't have gotten that was a terrible situation.
Yeah, he was recruiting for dog
And so what did the
fights.
other guy say?
No, man. Something like that.
Yeah, no man.
Yeah.
But the second you left to go back into, where were you? Oh, to the shoot, that guy's like, took a picture of the
Right.
Sorry, I couldn't talk to you.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was weird since you were my brother. Is this annoying behavior? It's not as bad as describing to people reflections in the glass of your living room door, right?
It's well within the...
It's well within the right.
The Kindler.
Does it move the ball forward? Does it really? Does it move the ball forward?
No, but
it's not so bad.
It's flavor.
So when I got here tonight, the reason why I'm late, there's no reason why I'm late.
Okay.
There's no reason why I'm late.
So right away, we know it's not a good story.
No, but here's the thing I've realized about the stories that I tell on the podcast, and also stories that I try in my act.
Yeah. Air quotes, okay.
They don't work. A lot of times they don't work. The more truthful they are, and the more I just include mundane,
Yeah.
descriptions from the day. I live a half block from the supermarket, and so I was able to walk there. I realize that many of my stories are not going over. And it could be because they're not entertaining. It could be because I'm not a good storyteller, whatever. But now I think the answer is at least shorten it up, briefen it up.
Right.
Don't think the 8 different detours is going to sell it. Right?
Yes.
So I came here tonight, and I have to check off things on the list of things I can no longer do to be able to get here by the start, which I was not able to do. But so the first thing is, I would have been 20 minutes later if I showered.
Okay.
I'm going to have a meal, some kind of a meal.
When you get home.
When I get home, I did, but this one I just shoved down a kashi bar.
Right.
Kashi. Really good, really tasty. Next time you take a kashi bar, think of the particular show. Enter kashi at checkout.
Yeah. Okay.
We're doing sample commercials. Let me ask you,
I got it.
If that takes off and someone tries to call kashi,
Yeah.
will you reconsider?
Yes.
So then I start. But here's the problem. Why I'm bad with time. it's not that when there's 3 minutes to go, like I tell you I'm going to be in 3 minutes,
All right.
that I'm not making a statement that is incorrect, but I'm actually thinking about the time to get here.
Yeah, unless you're in your car,
No.
do not give me this 3 minutes.
I don't even think then, because what's the odds of that happening? What are the odds that me texting you means
Like
I'm
that
gonna...
literally made me think, oh, he's in his car.
Oh, my God.
3 minutes.
You poor sap. Have you dealt with no irresponsible people before in your life? You poor sap. All right. Remember that time I told you definitely double park because I'm running out the door now. So, yeah.
So you
So what happened was...
so you were late.
So I was late. No,
Okay.
but I realized the problem is as I'm doing these errands, I left my house at 6:15
Right.
because the mail place closes at 6:30.
Okay.
And then the place where I pick up the dry cleaning closes up at 7.
Okay. What were you doing for the hour before 6:15?
No, that's not...
What were you doing?
I have no excuse.
Okay.
If I told you, you might actually do a 5150 for me. Oh, then I lay down.
Let me put down the first of the last possible minute dominoes that will fall in the next 2 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, have I looked up Ricky Gervais's name in the last 5 minutes on Twitter? Hey, why don't you look up other comedians your age who said the wrong thing and got in trouble for a half hour? So it's my problem is not knowing how to budget my time minute to minute. I'm a genius. I know it's a genius resolution, and that's what I'm working on. I'm middle-aged, man. I just came up with this. Middle-aged, man. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I resisted Andy Kindler from a month ago, and I resisted even telling you right then what I was going to do, and it still doesn't
That's
help.
what my mother.
It doesn't
my
help.
mother used to always do that. I was good. I didn't mention the thing.
Is that true?
Yes.
Your mom's idea
Yeah. That was my
of a
mom's
good night
passive
was,
aggression.
I didn't mention that your girlfriend left you yesterday that you said...
I was good. I didn't mention the shiksa.
So here's what I'm getting, that people in your life are frightened of you. Your mother was frightened of you. I'm sitting here thinking... I think of it more like you're doing this. You're tapping your wrist.
Yeah. I don't know, when you spend the 20 minutes talking about being late, it's I look back at the 15 minutes waiting for you longingly.
You do, because at least it was quieter. At least there wasn't so much fudging going on with the actual facts.
Right.
Well, it was quiet. Oh, have I talked to you since the sleep? Since I started the CPAP.
You were supposed to get the CPAP on Wednesday.
Oh my God.
That's where the story starts. Go.
Oh, okay. First of all, after you sleep with it for one night, after you sleep with it for 2 hours, and it's something you think is going to work,
Yeah.
you feel like it's like LSD, or not LSD, like not heroin, but you feel like it's oxygen.
Right.
It's like, oh my God.
Oh my God, it is oxygen.
Oh my God. I have not slept since 1995 for longer than forever. If I'm stopping breathing 62 times a second, a minute.
An hour.
When is the restful part of that? Is it with the what's the restful part of that?
So it's working, is what you're saying.
So how much of the rigmarole do you want me to tell you about?
I can.
You regulate it because
You
you
tell me a lot of rigmarole, but leave some pauses along the way so I can remove some of the rigmarole.
Okay, well, I have the Super Touch. It's like they're making it sound.
The Cadillac of.
Well, no, they make it sound like almost like you're a race car driver. You know what I mean?
Why wouldn't they?
And you're a part of it.
Right. Why wouldn't they try to make you excited? To blow air up your face.
So I do get competitive when I see that I have the Super Touch 20.
Yeah, sure.
But I want everyone to know there's absolutely nothing I'm doing to help this process along.
Right.
Except applying it correctly. And now they have I went there and my sleep doctor, he figured out everything. I thought I was going to go there and say, yeah, give me the nostril one. There's the nose, there's the nose pillows, which just go through the nose, or there's the mouth and nose thing.
You need the mouth and nose.
Well, I asked my brother and sister. My sister, who would talk somebody through a delicate spinal operation on me, but has no knowledge of spinal operations.
Right.
But that's how much she thinks she knows.
Right.
She said, I'll go with the nose ones. They're so great. You know, you can, she said with the mouth and nose, you can't watch TV or anything. Then my brother's like, I couldn't take just the nose ones. I couldn't take them. But meanwhile, they gave me no information. I had the actual information. When those people were watching me sleep, my mouth fell open after I slept. If your mouth falls open, you have to have a mouth and nose one, you idiots. But I'm thinking I have to go in there with my brother and my,
Right, you have to teach them all the things
you
know.
You're not giving me a signal, right?
No, I'm watching my dog.
Okay, because that would be the worst signal of all time. Is either someone's coming up from behind me to kill me, and you. How do you know that? How do you know they're not here to harm you? So you're saying
I'm doing some serious radio pantomime here.
If someone showed up behind me with a gun or whatever the your reaction would be to shake your head up and down,
grinning, yeah.
And grinning.
Yes.
I don't know why. You told me you don't do good takes. So what made me feel good is that they did more than just here give me a CPAP machine. The guy told me, who was a really funny guy, he was a really cool guy who explained the machine to me.
Right.
He said, "This is my last chance in life." You know, he was like over dramatized, but he's right. I mean, it's not my last chance, but maybe. I mean, I'm falling on stage. I can't stay up. I fall asleep during podcasts. Now that might not be a bad sign.
Right.
But this is, he says, you're the best kind of candidate for this. So if it doesn't work for you,
you're fucked, is what you're saying.
well, they can do operations, but none of them is better than the CPAP machine.
Right.
Or makes more sense.
Okay.
And so I feel like I'm getting rest for the first time I can't remember ever waking up in the morning feeling refreshed.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. You do. You feel as a fiddle, don't you?
I don't. I always am suspicious of people who feel refreshed in the morning. But
Of course.
But
Now that can be one of two things.
But I don't feel tired.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
I wake up too early, but I don't feel debilitated.
And you have or have not done a sleep test?
I have not. But I generally can get I get sleep in big enough chunks.
Yeah.
It's not every minute, I wake up every few hours maybe, or every,
Okay, I see. Now let me ask you a question. Your doctor's certificate, your sleep expert doctor's certificate, is there somewhere in the house that you could show it to me?
Well, you're now trying to push a CPAP machine down my throat like so much air?
Not just with you. I'm going with this with everybody.
No, I don't need one.
How do you know you don't need one?
Because I don't have apnea problems. I don't.
And how do you know you don't have apnea problems? I'm so good. I should have been why can't I have been the prosecuting attorney? Answer the questions, Weinstein.
Because I sleep with somebody who can report.
Okay. Only reason why I was doing this Perry Mason-like build-up is because Susan is the only reason why I got a sleep study, and she was convinced that there's something wrong with me.
Right.
And it was sleep apnea, and she couldn't tell because it's not just because you don't go. So she couldn't tell visually. All I'm saying is I would hate for something to happen to you. Isn't that what they said to the Stormy Daniels? That can't be a real story. Nice kid. Nobody ever said that in real life, did they?
Said what?
To Stormy Daniels, nice kid, too bad if anything should happen to her mother.
Yeah, I believe someone said that to her.
I do too, but that hacky?
Yeah, look at Michael Cohen. He's central casting, hacky, thug piece of shit.
But make it a little bit, spruce it up. Like, hey, is that your kid?
I mean, I agree. It's a little bit pulp novel.
Right.
You know
what else I want to do?
Be ashamed of something that happened to him. It's like hacky gangster thing,
Nice kid, nice.
But
yes,
I also believe that that's the kind of people that Michael Cohen.
Right, they're hacks.
Yeah.
The fact that they're hacks should not dissuade you from thinking they're not terrible people.
Right.
So all I'm saying is, I went to Eddie at my who owns the dry cleaner. I'm not going to give out the name, but if I did, I would get $5.
How did we get to the dry cleaner?
I told him what I did.
About your CPAP machine?
Yes.
Okay.
And I looked at Eddie, and Eddie looked like he was going to collapse from exhaustion. His family's been telling him that, and I never looked at Eddie in the eyes lovingly before.
Yeah.
And it was like, yes, my family's been telling me this for years. I don't sleep, blah, blah, blah. So this is what I think I am going to be evangelical about.
Oh, that's good.
And is there money in it?
I don't know. See if you can monetize your insufferability in this direction now.
Can I button up the story, though, with something that I hope you don't cut out?
Sure.
I'm down from 62 times a minute waking myself up to 2 times a minute.
An hour?
No, it's by minute. I was doing it 62 times a minute.
More than once a second you were waking up? That seems improbable to me.
I think all this time,
and not noticing. That's the really hard part.
All of this time, I was like, how could they even measure something that short? I know. So you're saying it's not 60 times a second?
It's an hour. You said it the first time a couple weeks ago, and it was an hour. And then every time since, you've said a minute, and I've corrected you a couple times, but...
Now I'm down to like a couple times an hour.
That's great.
It was better when I was a guy like this.
Does the CPAP machine report to you?
Not only does the CPAP machine report to me, it reports to my doctor.
It does 5 minutes. So then you got into REM sleep. Next thing you know, you're naked in high school.
How many people here have had that one about where they fall asleep, they can't remember their line? This guy knows what I'm talking about.
You're being chased naked by an IRS agent down the hall of the Tonight Show.
If you have to study to learn how to sleep, I don't think sleep's your biggest problem.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that it's working.
I'm so happy.
And was it like first night it worked for or was it a couple nights of adjustment?
It was the first nap.
Really?
Because I've been I would say for about 5 or 6 years, I just exhausted every second of the day. Like if Susan says, I don't feel a little tired. Yeah, let's try it now. Let's get to sleep now. And this is what I've been doing. I don't sleep for more than, I would think 4 hours, but I'm up way earlier, 3 hours, 2 hours. I'm not, So this is a miracle. I'd like to make money off of it.
So is your goal to shift your schedule to a more human schedule?
Well, there's no, just like the fact that if I worked a graveyard shift, it would make sense that I'd be up. There's no reason for me to be up the crazy hours.
Right.
But the thing that is also amazing, the guy says to me, he goes, you really need to do this. And you're like, it's your last job. He's very funny, though. I'm not funny doing his story. But he said, he goes, you have it affects your blood pressure. The morning after I did it, I had 120/80 for the first time ever.
Yeah. Nice.
Like in years.
Great.
I think forever. So I know now I'm putting all my eggs in the basket.
And do you feel any sort of cognitive boost for the last few days?
No, I still took me too long. No. Everything is better, but like Susan says, she gets frightened of the energy. So, like when you get frightened of me, if I was doing an obnoxious bit and I didn't get tired of it, that's what it's like sometimes.
Maybe it's time to start dialing back on the energy drinks now that you have actual energy.
I know.
That's because baseline Andy plus, I don't think any of us are going to be able to take.
What's the matter? Are you from some central office of people who have been sent here to get on my ass? Or as they say,
yes, I am one of two people probably who's most in charge of being on your ass.
How'd you even notice that this was a drink that had energy in it?
Zevia, 0-calorie energy.
120 milligrams of caffeine.
That's smart.
That is smart.
What the fuck is wrong with
Oh,
you?
I'm sorry. You should tell me that this week, should we try like different endings for conversations? There's an ending where you get really mad.
Well, good. I'm glad it's working.
Josh.
And we'll all be able to hear over the course of weeks what the actual.
Because I don't stop talking about it.
Right.
You don't know how many times I've had to restrain myself from tweeting numbers.
Yeah.
But I would have tweeted to people, I will stop breathing 60 times a second. No, not a second. I never said a second. I said a minute.
Yeah, 62 times a minute. More than once per second. Yeah.
It's definitely not 62 times a minute, right?
No.
If it was, would you?
That's a convulsion. That's not a sleep problem.
Well, my problems aren't all solved. I thought they would be.
Yeah.
I still have problems. If anyone's worried about it.
But at least now you can focus on your problems.
Yes, and also I want to thank everybody who have sent in things about my OCD. It's been very, very nice. And I've been in a down period. Usually I answer every email. People will stop it with the answering of the emails. But I've been really behind. But this one guy sent really interesting, and I will write to him, I hope. But he sent me interesting stuff about OCD, and I think is it cognitive behavior therapy or something, where you it's if you have OCD and you tell yourself don't go back in there and check, even though you know something could happen.
Right.
So that seemed to help him. But I think what helps me is just thinking more about myself, Josh.
I do think that there's benefits to cognitive. I mean, at a certain point, you have to stop examining and start having tools to apply, you know?
Yeah. But how about this? I thought I was...
But I've never gone through this yet. That's like
right.
the eyes of my wife. That was the key for her. She did talk therapy for years, but then...
Right.
Ultimately, it was cognitive behavioral therapy that gave her a tool chest to draw on when this shit was happening.
Yeah, I think everybody has to go with their own instincts. Like, my instincts were... When I started to remember that I had a childhood, I don't know if you forgot yours.
No, I think you still have, some catching up to do.
It's like, oh, my childhood? It was fine. I'm okay. It's okay.
Right.
But when you didn't... See, I thought I was someone because I'm Jewish and I watched Woody Allen movies. I assumed I'd been in therapy.
Right.
I mean, that really is true. Sure, I'm going to write it down. No, but it really is true because... I feel like I'm an open person, and I used to go to the Bo Diddley bookstore. I mean, I've always been interested in the mind, and I mean, self-help I got turned off.
You're a seeker.
I mean, self-help I got turned off of
Right.
pretty quickly with a lot of that stuff, Feel the Fear and all that stuff.
I remember when you moved to Oregon to follow the Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh for those 2 years.
Did you say that joke because you thought Rajneesh would be a funny word? Or
no,
just the idea of me going to Oregon?
It's because I just watched Wild Wild, whatever it's called. Wild Wild Country.
Oh.
On Netflix, which is really good docu-series about the showdown between the Bhagwan and his people and the small town and then the state of Oregon and then the United States.
When you say his people, is that your way of saying Native American?
No. No, it's not at all.
Oh, it's the other. It's
a cult, essentially.
These are the people who wouldn't leave out of the Oregon wherever they were, right?
Yeah.
For like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Where were they?
In Oregon.
No, but I mean, were they in like Bobby's?
They were
Five
in a
and
very,
Dime?
very small. They took over basically a very small town, like a little retirement.
The town did not want them,
They
right?
did not want them in any way. And it's
I got to see that.
It's a psycho crazy story. It's really great, and it's well told too.
I watched another Scientology one about the McCavige's wife.
Miscavige, yeah.
Miscavige. It's a miscavige of justice. You see, when I do puns like that, that's funny. She hasn't been heard from, his wife, Mrs. David Miscavige. That's not her name.
Yeah, but she's apparently not actually missing, according to
That's
cops.
the other side of it. But have you heard from her?
I haven't.
Oh, but you just trust whatever the psychology says. Anything they say. I mean, I've been having arguments with Josh for years. He's like, look, I'm just saying there's some good, solid suggestions. It is boring. And you know it's boring. I can't imagine you ever, out of curiosity's sake, reading anything like Scientology.
I've always been sort of tempted to read Dianetics.
But I can tell you, I have read it.
Have
and
you?
It's awful.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured.
Because I had to read it to do that show for Comedy Central, and I learned stuff about it, and it's boring. First of all, I learned one thing: is I'm not a brilliant. You think I'm a brilliant reader? I'm not that great a reader, like you claim.
Right. All I know is that when I hear summaries of what Scientology is about,
it's better than the original thing.
Even then, it's boring and
It's so
stupid
boring.
sounding.
Because it makes up a whole phony the thing that anybody who wasn't hurting or didn't grow up in it within 3 seconds, you just think this is phony baloney.
It's like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. It's like it's describing a 6-year-old's drawing.
True, but I'm on the school that he did know that he was writing it with the initials of LSD. And he did, right?
I think so, probably, yeah.
But then the thing that's cool is he says it was a classmates thing, and that also is very magical for those of you who've done acid many times. Either way, it was cool.
I think it could be both.
Could be both.
It could be.
That's true.
It's Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Hey, that's LSD.
But I felt they were high. I mean, I felt a lot of their lyrics were written from the point of view. But I can't say that for Van Morrison too. I mean, a lot of people were high back then, and you could tell it in the lyrics.
Right. But I mean, it was also they were writing songs about drugs. I mean, it wasn't like the drugs influences were peeking through. It's like that's what they were writing about.
Well, but Dylan always said it wasn't like Mr. Tambourine Man. He said, "Oh, it's not about drugs." Well, I don't think it necessarily has to be on one level with that song. That's not like a song that goes, and then we got to the party and the guy gave me acid. Bow, 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 bow. And I took the acid and I started tripping. Quack, a quack, a quack. That song.
Psychedelic Bo Diddley.
I know a cat named Way Out Willie. But Earl, before he took... But before he took acid, his name was Nick.
Boing, 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 boing.
He took acid. He said, "Call, hey, Kells, call me Way Out Willie."
Boing, bing, 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 bing.
He walked out the door and he never came back.
Boing, 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 boing.
A
lot of commitment there.
Hand jive. Well, but I don't know how I got on that, but for a second it seemed good to me. You know what I'm saying? This is the new me. This is the new Andy Kindler podcast me.
I'm going to go work on my vocal blues sitar impression for a while.
Look, everything you do is so much better than most impressions.
So true.
You know what I mean?
So
Remember
true.
that time that Michael Winslow called you up?
I
and
do.
He said,
the phone went...
and he said to you, and he said, and you said hello, and he said, "Hi."
Hello.
He said, "Hi,
I'm
I saw you over at the Improv, and your impression of you know what he loved? He told me your impression of when you drive up to the drive-through guy.
Yeah.
He loved it.
Yeah. Well,
How's that go
classic.
again? You drive up and what happens? Can't hear a word you say. Well, we've done good so far.
Oh God!
A lot of times you'll say to me,
Don't
jinx it." This is the best show ever.
Don't even.
Only gold can come after this. Did you have any exciting events happen to you this week?
I can't think of big exciting events. This is I realized yesterday, this is the 30th anniversary of my first road trip as a comic when I was 16.
Wow. And where'd you go?
I went to, and I might have talked about this before, but it was Wilmer, Minnesota, Faribault, Minnesota, Beulah, North Dakota.
Wow.
Flandreau, South Dakota, and Mobridge, South Dakota.
And who booked that tour?
And I had only heard of one of those towns before I went to any of them. It was a guy, I think the guy's name was John Buchanan. And I went with Trace Beaulieu, who was the feature act. I was the MC. And
how long have you been doing
a guy
comedy
named
at this
Charlie
point?
Walker was the headliner, black guy, which I only say because it was a white guy, a black guy, and a Jew walking into a bar every night. Say again? How long did I do?
Had you been doing stand-up before you went on the road?
That would have been like a year in.
Right. So you had, I mean, like you were better than me when I was 37. So, but now I was thinking about that between last week and this week, and I was thinking that I could see how your parents would be freaked out.
My mom was totally freaked out.
My parents.
My dad, I think, was kind of thought. Yeah, I think he had a romanticism about it. You know,
Well, is it illegal what you were doing?
I don't know if it was really legal. I don't think it probably wasn't. I mean, that was the only time I lied about my age too. That trip and I didn't even mean to, but Trace had talked to the booker, and the booker went, "I hear he's like a kid or something," and Trace went, "Oh no, I think he's 18." And the guy went, "Oh, yeah, okay."
I always said Trace is no snitch.
So then Trace told me he did. So then I I followed
ID?
through with the lie. You know what? No one ever asked back then. I don't remember ever filling out like W-9s or whatever at gigs when it was always cash or,
You got paid at the gigs? Well,
But I got $300. That was for that whole week.
for that whole week.
It was $300.
How many shows was that? Like you slept in a condo
It was
and
6
things?
shows or 6 nights.
And you slept in a condo?
Different city every night. No, we slept in
hotels.
horrible motels.
Were they really bad?
Yeah, I mean, what kind
They
of...
weren't even a chain low-level hotel.
No, like sub chain because it was Beulah, North Dakota. There wasn't a chain
Beulah, North
there.
Dakota.
These were really small towns.
Oh, I see that.
But that also tells you what the 80s was like because those 6 towns had a comedy night. you know?
Yeah. No, I don't think anybody could predicted. You couldn't have predicted the Beatles, but you knew there was music beforehand.
Right.
But you couldn't have predicted a comedy boom. I don't think.
Not like that,
Not like that.
where it was like every hotel lounge, every,
It's like when the Mechanical Bull got popular.
It really was. It was even, I think it was more affordable and accessible than a Mechanical Bull. There was less,
Right.
there was less overhead or capital investment because you don't need an insurance policy for a comedy show necessarily. You need general coverage for your bar, but
Right. That's the thing I think is why it wouldn't be good for an obsessive compulsive guy to own a bar because this bar owner or somebody was telling me that they can be liable if someone goes out and kills somebody, and they can trace it back. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but don't tell me about it.
right.
I heard the worst story. I don't even know if I can tell this story. Okay, I'll have to find out first. I think it's fine. This guy is a comedian, and maybe he tells the story on stage anyway, but he left his house, and he had a candle on top of his TV.
Uh-huh.
He came back. He heard a siren. He went, oh, my God. I wonder if it was the candle. He comes back. They say it was not the candle on top of his TV. It was his outlet behind the TV had caught fire, overloaded. Do you think to this day I could have ever let that go? That would I believed that
That it wasn't the candle.
yeah, like the 3-prong outlet behind the lit candle is what did it. So I'm just glad it didn't happen to me.
Me too. On so many levels.
Yeah, but
So did his apartment burn down?
yeah, no one got hurt.
Yeah.
But the whole apartment burned down. So that's the thing. That's an example where if I had included more information,
It was really
You had to guess
it was
what
a
the
white
setup
knuckle
was.
ride for facts. That's
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I don't remember if he remembered that.
All we knew is he heard sirens. We didn't know.
Yeah, because I think that he had heard the siren and went back to his house or something.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
What
do you think? What would be your guess? Why would they say that the cause was something that it was only a foot away from the cause? Maybe it's not science. What caused the fire thing. I think it is actually.
It is actually. You can tell when an electrical fire starts.
Oh, Josh. I don't know if you pulled rank or
I pulled reality on you.
pulled reality. Let's see if I have anything else I need to tell you. Oh, now, Josh.
Yeah.
I did not ask for the Ricky Gervais thought spiral. I know we talked about this last week, but the Gervais thing reminds me of people, and this is something that bothers me, but I just realized, obviously, it's the way people are, but as a person, I've decided to tell myself, I'm never again getting involved in any discussion where I have to justify Obama to somebody. Because these people who are on the left, like Bernie, really Bernie bros, not Russian trolls.
Yeah.
There's a whole group of people who are, you like Obama? He's a war criminal. He did the drones. He did the thing. Not only do I disagree with them, I don't want to even have a discussion that starts on the basis of, tell me why the guy you thought was a good president is not a war criminal.
All right.
And I don't know if Twitter increased it or whatever, but it's good to know. Don't even beyond knowing I shouldn't engage with anybody. Probably these people are never going to change their mind. They're almost as bad as people on the right, far right.
There's no point in having a political argument on Twitter.
Does it just? But I guess what it is.
There's just no point.
I guess it does. I guess it's my own naivete surprises me that. I mean, I know what they did to Clinton in terms of the media, not the media and the right wing, right? But it was like Obama. If you say, well, if he doesn't do anything wrong, I'm sure people will get over their racism.
Right.
He didn't do anything. He's like, people on the left are, Cornel West, all these people are saying he did things wrong. It's just,
Right.
I couldn't have seen it coming, Josh.
People just like being strident.
Well, they do, but it's the thing is, like, I love that march this weekend. I watched that every speech on that march, and it's like, why don't I have a closer like that? Why aren't I that confident on stage?
Right.
And now you're saying, Andy, do you want a tragedy in your life to make you more?
Well, I mean, it's close. The audience is silent for 6 minutes.
Ah! You're saying there are similarities
Between you and Emma Gonzalez. Yes.
and Emma Gonzalez. First of all, the audience feels that something tragic has happened when I perform, right?
Uh-huh. Check.
Now, are you saying that joke didn't add anything to your original observation?
It was a lateral. It was a lateral.
People leave it feeling hopeless. No, they didn't.
They
leave
didn't
that.
leave it feeling
Forget
hopeless.
that. And where were all the Antifa? How come there were no Antifa people? There's people who believe that there's a whole bunch of, like, you can't walk outside.
Right.
A Nazi can't walk. They're scared a Nazi can't walk outside today without getting punched in the face.
By a liberal terrorist.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not worried about that.
I'm not so worried myself.
But it was very inspirational, I thought, to see these kids.
It was, absolutely.
And it made me feel like, and I said to myself, you know what makes me mad? Why does the LA one what time did the LA one start? 10 in the morning? What are you, nuts? Why don't you just say, Andy, we don't want you to be a part of it. All right? If I know, I'll go on one of those things if I'm on a float and there's a bathroom
CPAP machine.
CPAP machine, and there's bathroom facilities. I want to protest, but I want it to be all about me somehow.
Well,
You
I'm just scrolling through mean things I can say. So
you want me? You want me?
I'm just.
Can I run by you?
That's why I went offline there for a second.
Here's how you want to hear.
I was in marriage mode where I was like holding back the mean responses.
Oh, I'm telling. Here's how it would be, though. You, Mr. Trump, tear down.
You're just not invited.
I'm not. Yeah,
you're
forget
not
it.
invited.
I'm not invited to it. What else happened? What else is happening?
Nerd Melt is closing. That's sad.
That's right. I even written down.
That's
Nerd
gonna
Melt.
that's gonna affect my set at your next show, right?
That's so funny. I thought about it since then. That's a very sad thing. It is a really sad thing, but it's also a very encouraging thing because I have been a part of so many different environments, whether it was even way back in college being in a play or these different club environments. You were in Minnesota. I don't know if you had seen the other. Did you see the scene like when it was Louis Anderson and all those people?
Not really. I mean, I knew I never went to the clubs before I really started doing stand-up.
Right.
Because I was 15.
But I can't tell you how many different rooms have opened and closed that were like kind of cool places on one level or another. The original Largo.
Right.
So the encouraging thing is I think there's always going to be places open. But I realize that people wouldn't believe this, but I'm an optimistic person. It hasn't helped me.
Yeah.
It's like, don't worry about Trump. He will be defeated. That's what I'd like to say.
Yeah. I haven't heard you say that.
Trump will be defeated because good triumphs eventually over evil, I think. I do believe that.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I don't know that. I mean, I hope it does. I don't. I'm trying to decide if I believe that's a natural law, or if that's just how it tends to work out.
Let me change my theory. My theory is life can be amazing even with all those horrible things happening. That's more what I mean. Like you can be happy.
That'll go along.
That'll be happy, yeah. But I don't know why I insist that evil will be. But look, I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. Sometimes there's a guy. It's just like you have a guy, right? And he's a bully.
Yeah.
And you go, what would be good if millions of people turned on him?
Well, and I think, yeah, I mean, exactly. And I think it's kind of more like evil peters out, or evil just sort of wears on everybody eventually, or I don't know. I don't see good doing enough triumphing, but
No, but I did watch. I did watch the Gervais special. I have some.
did you watch it?
Yes, I did.
Oh Jesus. Okay. All right, settle in.
It's.
I gotta
I don't
stretch a
even
little.
think. It's surprisingly, I don't have a lot to say about it because
everyone else is already beaten up on him.
Well, I was wondering what you think about this. It's like my theory about him or people like him who have such huge egos, like Trump. I mean, he's more talented than Trump. I love The Office. But the way that they're operating like he made The Office with Stephen Merchant, and, you can never argue about how great it was. I thought it was genius, But he seems to block his own progress as a stand-up, much like I blocked my own progress as a musician by caring so much about what people thought that even though I claimed not to care about what they thought, well, I didn't claim not to care about it. He claims not to, but he obviously does.
Yeah.
Because you don't read people's things and talk about the arguments on Twitter that you've had in your special unless it means something to you. And I just feel like he would not want to go through the years of rejection or anything hard. He doesn't want to go through because his ego is so out of control.
Right.
So he had to construct this event. It's not stand up.
Right.
It's a fucking event.
Right.
And he goes out there and he's got the Tony Robbins. No, who does I say Tony Robbins, but who else goes out like Joel? He looks like Joel Osteen. That's what he goes out like.
Right.
With the headset. You don't walk out with a headset microphone. Like a stand-up doesn't do that. Like you're selling Tupperware.
Right.
And then you never see the audience the entire time. You never see them.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the laughter is sweetened in an odd way.
Right.
And it's all of a sudden like, can you believe it? His whole thing is, can you believe I've said something so offensive? And can you believe that people have reacted negatively to it? And he is the victim somehow. He's the victim.
Right.
And it's like, I can't even remember all the bits. The bits are just awful. He makes fun of Caitlyn Jenner.
Right.
But I think he hates all trans people. I'm convinced that it's not that he hates all trans people. He hates anybody because he got in trouble for calling people Mongols or, like in England, they were like, not only were they not using the word retarded, they had this other word, not all of England.
Mongoloid.
Yeah, something like that. But he defends it. Like, no, it's not. So he defends his whole thing about going after Caitlyn Jenner as, no, I'm going after the hypocrisy or going, like he'll make fun of himself every 10 minutes in the special.
Right.
So that he can then later say, I'm also a jerk. But
right.
Why does he, first of all, I don't think it's the edgiest joke to say that Caitlyn Jenner is a bad woman driver because she drove and killed somebody in a car accident. You probably don't even know she killed somebody in a car accident.
Right, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
He's defending that because it's so important that he's willing to take a stand. He's doing it because it is safe.
Right.
Because what's Caitlyn Jenner going to do? But the real message is, he says, well, you call yourself trans? Okay, I'm Bobo the chimp now.
Right.
And so I'm saying he obviously has a lot of anger towards not just trans people. He hates everything.
Right.
But he wants to try and defend it as some kind of grand, he's the rebel, he's the bad boy of comedy.
Yeah.
And I would just say this, Josh, it was a complete failure. It was worse than I thought it would be because it was boring.
Right.
I thought it was going to be like he'd be carried off the stage or something that I could sink my teeth into. He's just a terrible comedian.
Pretty much. I mean, that's the conclusion I've come to whenever I've seen him, I didn't watch this because I read enough shit about it that I got, like I heard all the bits you described, I've heard described in reviews and stuff. So it's,
you would watch it because it would really be boring to you because you've already, by reading it, you've heard the whole thing.
Well, and it's just like, especially since I have this partnership with you, you have the hate franchise for Ricky Gervais. I don't need to do any more supplementing to it.
Do you think?
I have been watching a ton of shit though lately.
What'd you
week.
see?
I watched that Wild Wild Country, which was like 6
And I'm gonna watch
hours,
that.
And I watched a bunch of movies. I even went to Black Panther the other day.
How was that?
It was great.
I want to see. Now, see, that's a movie I want to see in the theater.
Yeah.
But why do I say that? I don't see any of these superhero movies. I'm saying it because is it white guilt that's making me say it?
I guess so.
I
Or
have
some
so much
sort
white
of
guilt.
Twitter guilt.
You know what it is?
Some
I
sort
have
of-
almost.
It's FOMO.
I have OCD about anything to do with race or anything. It could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be anything that could go wrong.
Oh, you mean you feel like you have a social responsibility to see it?
No.
Because it's-
I feel like I can't even say that I went to a movie without bringing up the race of it. Why am I bringing up the race of it? Because I'm obsessed with things that could get me in trouble. It's a weird thing. It's like
Right.
jumping off of a cliff. You ever go look over the side of a cliff and you go, I kind of want to jump.
No.
No, you don't. Do you ever say to yourself, what if I did jump? That's what it's more like.
Yeah.
I don't want to kind of jump. Folks, please don't call anybody.
No, I mean, I actually tend to imagine a falling scenario more than a jumping scenario.
Right, but so you can see, you imagine what you're frightened of.
I guess, yeah.
So how would you fall off the Empire State Building? Just give me a scenario. You hit isn't there like an observation? Are you jumping off the Empire State Building onto the observation tower or off of the
I would be diving after the penny I dropped off, so it doesn't.
But you didn't want it to hurt
doesn't go through
someone.
someone's head.
Many OCP people have died. Oh, man. But you know, fear of heights. What is fear of heights? I don't know what that is, but I don't have it, but
Yeah.
I could.
Acrophobia, I think, or something.
Yeah. And agoraphobiia.
What is that?
What?
Sorry, CPAP, sorry.
Somebody did. Hey, Pacho. Hey, Concha. Somebody didn't take their CPAP machine.
I watched a bunch of episodes of Master of None, which is...
Aziz Ansari's.
Yeah.
I've only watched one of them, and it was okay, so I stopped watching them, but I hear they're good.
They're good. I mean, they're not great, but they're breezy. They're like super breezy, and it's like a bunch of people kind of yes-ending their way through a half hour each time. But it's well done, and they never take such a big swing and miss at anything that makes you call bullshit. So it really is breezy. You know?
Is he in every one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's above average certainly.
Well, when you say yes end, I think you're pointing out to the thing that one of the downsides of improv comedy or improv anything is when you can see the improv.
Well, no, this is written. It's not really.
Let me
improv.
finish. This would not be an example.
But the character choices are always kind of a rolling banter, you know?
Yeah.
Where the character is always going, you know, because they're friends, they're going along with it. So you get lots of shtick that way.
Well, that's kind of.
But it's within the realm of human behavior still, you know?
It just this would not be a blurb I would put on the back of my book if I wrote
Within the realm of human behavior. Says,
Josh Elvis Weinstein says, I think it's plausible. I found it to be plausible. There's a show on HBO that I really like that's about a group of people. They sell pot. One guy sells pot. He's like a bike messenger guy.
Yeah.
They're really good. It's weird. Every week is weird. That's why I don't do reviews.
that was actually an idea I had for a show many years ago.
Bad reviews like I did?
No, a bike messenger,
Oh.
a New York pot delivery guy.
This is what this is.
Yeah.
And what happened to you? He told, and they say, based on an idea by Josh Elvis Weinstein. Did you know about that?
I know.
Did you
got
know?
the check, so.
Okay, but you're going to get a check in the mail from it.
But I had, it was based on this idea because my pot dealer said to me, or no, it was something I read. It was like a thing called Gig, which was basically like Studs Terkel's working, but modern.
Yeah.
And one of the interviews was with a New York pot dealer like that. And the thing that stuck with me was going like, always deal with people who have more to lose than you.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Always deal. Oh, okay. So you don't get killed, or
So you don't get ratted out
Yeah.
to cops. So you don't,
Oh,
people
okay.
who fear getting in trouble with the transaction that you're doing.
That's how Trump assembled his cabinet.
Exactly.
Wow. That's interesting, though. That's a good tactical way to think.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us of my generation, not all of us, but if I could have been a pot dealer at one point and it didn't mean me going to jail and nothing bad happened,
Yeah.
it is nice. Yeah. What do I got? Look at this. Look at my new situation there.
Yeah, no, the vibe and ethic of it is appealing. Like
It's appealing.
Like opening a restaurant almost.
Let me tell you what I'm going to do, Josh. Normally, I don't let this indica go for less than, you know what I'm saying? But if you get it today only, and you don't shoot me. Oh, I had this joke for you. I know. Oh, I cannot do a tweet as a joke. Forget it.
You can't do a tweet as a joke.
No. I only wrote one other thing where I was late tonight and I was parking my car.
Yeah.
And then I looked at this guy and he had a weird vibe. I know, what's his deal? And then I realized, like the old Bob Odenkirk joke, what's my deal? What am I worth? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sizing him up.
All right.
Maybe I'm the bad guy. Because Bob Odenkirk would always do that. What's Seinfeld going to do now that there's no more Seinfeld? What are you going to do? That's what Odenkirk would say. You know what, Josh? Just take it out. God damn it. You know what I didn't realize? I don't think a lot of the listeners realize this, that he has a non-record button that he hits for long stretches of
It's
the
internal.
show.
It's internal.
Anything else that you can report? Before we go, I almost answered a letter this week.
Yeah.
Because I can't get... Also, you know what I was very proud of?
What's that?
My own tweet about the dropping of the show. I don't get any credit for promoting my own podcast.
You're a real asset to the team.
Larry, did you read? Larry wrote me. He wrote you a letter.
He did.
Does that mean that
Very
Larry
nice.
made it onto the show last week?
He did.
I love it so much.
Larry's the guy who was on the recording of
Yes.
Andy trying to justify his OCD.
Do you write the blurb?
OCD radio theater.
LCD radio. You write excellent blurbs. Is that you writing them, or is it
Yes, it's me.
Showbiz?
It's me.
Showbiz Studios. It's you.
It's me.
You know,
Part of the process.
I say that to you. I'm not saying that's a backhanded compliment. I know there's not a lot of money in that.
There's not.
Well, but anyway, I think we gave short shrift to the fact that I really am going to miss Nerd. I'm really going to miss Meltdown because I love comic book stores. I love them because I buy comic books, not the superhero kind, so don't start with me. But I love the vibe in that store, and it's like sometimes you go, "How long has this been here?"
25 years.
It's been there. Okay, they didn't do comedy until the last, I think,
Maybe 15 years.
Yeah, right.
It was Hardwick.
Yep, and then they had the Kumail show.
Yeah, so maybe 7 or 8 years, but
I'm looking for a new home.
new particular show venue. Hello.
How about Improv Lab?
Sounds like Improv Lab fodder.
That's where shows go when they're in trouble.
On the other podcast, edge-show.com, that I'm on.
What did you call it?
It's the Edge Show.
Okay.
But you can go to edge-show.com to see it or hear it, whatever. We had we had a great guest. We had this sea captain who was who is the captain of the Bob Barker in the fleet of the Sea Shepherd fleet, which is like the people who did like Whale Wars.
This is not Scientology.
This is not Scientology.
Right. These are legitimate sea people.
These are actual sea people who basically, are the enemy of illegal fishermen on the high seas. So they're like the people who get between whaling ships and whales.
That must be a dangerous
super
job.
dangerous, yeah. So he tells me he tells this story of he captures he has this encounter with this fishing boat that's like one of the top 5 most wanted poacher boats in the world, basically. So he goes after it, and he's like, in the most remote part of the ocean between.
Oh no!
North.
Is he alone in his boat?
No, he's got a crew
yeah.
on his boat, and it's the Bob Barker. And,
Why do they call it the Bob Barker?
Because Bob Barker bought the boat.
Because
he's an animal
really
rights
into
activist.
Yes,
and the sister ship is the Sam Simon.
that's great.
So he comes upon this boat in this incredibly remote, like north of Antarctica, south of Africa and South America, and this boat is like poaching Patagonian toothfish, which is Chilean sea bass, is what we call it at restaurants, and. But it's like one of the most wanted boats in the world. It's like that goes into ports under one name and leaves under another, and now it's called the Thunder when he encounters it. And so he comes upon this boat illegally fishing, and his first attempt is basically to do a citizen's arrest on the high seas. Radio and hey, you're illegally fishing, blah blah blah. Follow me to port. Best case scenario,
Is it legal to do a citizen's arrest?
Well, that's all you can do on the international waters. So it didn't work.
Yeah.
So he ends up like chasing this boat through like 3 oceans for like 110 days. Just waiting to basically get it close enough to shore and then call a Coast Guard and have them come out and get him, basically. But chasing him for over 100 days, finally gets to a point where, and like some of those days are just drifting, for like 30 days because they're saving fuel.
Oh, man.
It's like the standoff at sea, and there's radio contact.
Bob Barker's cheap. I'm just kidding.
And you can imagine being chased around the planet by Bob Barker. Damn you, Barker! But so eventually it's like a standoff, and they start fishing again like 100 days in.
Oh, you mean they had stopped these guys from fishing?
They had stopped these guys from fishing because they were chasing them for all this time. And so they finally get to this. It's like a big, listen to the show for the actual story. But they get to this point where one day, like, instead of surrendering, essentially, the guy sinks his own boat. Like one day, there's like 30 crew members getting off the boat into life rafts.
Oh, okay.
And they're going,
Goodbye.
And he calls the captain and goes, what's going on? Oh yeah, right. By the way, Mayday, Mayday.
Oh,
so he's scuttling his own boat to hide the evidence of his illegal fishing. And they're like, and you're at sea, so you have to like rescue the people. So,
you have to rescue them.
So not only did they rescue this crew and take them captive, essentially on board their own ship, they had, 3 of their crew members boarded the sinking ship to get evidence of their illegal fishing operation with film and everything, So, because once the abandoned ship, it becomes salvage. Like it's legal to board a sinking ship.
Right, I got you.
But they had to wait until it was abandoned.
Really? How come nobody hopped on my career?
So they didn't wait. Damn, it was gold. It was gold. So they had to wait until they fully abandoned ship, and they abandoned it too soon, basically.
Oh, so it was still staying up.
Yeah.
They were trying to delay it, obviously.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a great story.
I can't even believe it. Now that those guys end up going to jail, or what happened?
Yeah, I think the captain of the ship and probably some of his crew.
What is his justification? There is no justification, right?
Just money.
Money, and they don't care.
Yeah.
I think there's evil people out there. Like now, I'm starting to understand Trump.
Right, but good triumphed over evil. Although these are radicals too. These sea shepherd people are radicals.
Yeah, they're radicals. It was.
And I was like, because I was asking him like, what are the ethics of what you do?
Oh,
And
what did he say?
He was very evasive about that. Because I was like, do you damage other people's ships? He didn't answer that. But they do. I think,
Right, and they're also prepared.
They take out propellers on things. And,
they have guns and stuff, right? They're prepared.
They do. I don't think they had guns.
Oh, this is what I hate about it's Americans and what my solution to
There
this?
were no shots fired in this whole incident, but there were certainly concerns.
If I was in charge, I would have kids in nursery school starting to operate tiny assault weapons. I came up with that joke a couple days ago. I realized it wasn't funny, and I said to myself, maybe I'll do it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Bad decision again.
when I'm editing, I'm sure it'll make
I
me
love
laugh.
that story, man. That is some good stuff.
Yeah, it's a great story. Better when he tells it.
No, that's the difference. You tell a good story. I leave the details out and then yell at you for not laughing.
I can recognize what a story is. that's the key.
You know,
I think.
once you accept a win when it comes in, you have to
It's
pile
true.
on.
It's true. I should.
There's no reason for the piling
There wasn't.
on.
It really wasn't in that case.
Nobody likes a piler honor.
Do you want to go to some questions?
I have a new theme song for that. You ready?
Oh, then never mind.
If you've got a question and you don't know what to do, just call or send it to Thought Spiral and put on that hashtag too. Hashtag Test Shows 47. Hashtag mails in. And then you. Is that from the Addams Family?
Huh?
Is that from the Addams Family? Mails in.
No. It's not. Tweet Bahara.
I love that name.
Andy, I don't know where to tell you to get good pot here in Austin. I apologize. I can definitely help you out with good Mexican food.
That I need help with, because Austin has the greatest food in the world, and I'll take any suggestions because I love it. There used to be a place called Las Manitas downtown Austin. It was great breakfast, and my wife's from El Centro. She knows Mexican food. So, what was the question? Yes,
Okay.
yes on both,
All right.
and he knows where to find me, right? Doesn't he? Yeah, he's going to find me in that bar in Austin.
I'm sure we talked about that last week.
Oh, God.
We know
Oh, I
Perush.
can't.
Perush will be looking for you, too.
You know I need to have new. But they both live in Austin.
It would seem.
All right. Looking forward to seeing you guys. All right. Have you heard Mnuchin? He goes, all right. After Mnuchin says some bullshit, he says, all right. He's a terrible. It's like he knows he lied or something, and he just goes, okay. Did you buy that? I know you love him. I'm sorry. I don't like Mnuchin.
No, he just seems like there's constant diarrhea churning within him.
You can't. You should not have a. If you want to be an asshole, don't have that face. Go with a friendlier face. His wife seems nice.
I'm jumping around here. Luke Hawley says, are you guys ever going to invite some guests into the Spiral? If so, who? Fred Stoller, Tom Segura, Phil Rosenthal? P.S. I play podcasts at work all day. Some weeks I hear 40 plus hours. Doing a hell of a job there, let me just say.
Well, he does a job where he doesn't have to focus. I know exactly what he's doing there, and I applaud it.
I always discover new podcasts because of guests I like to follow. Yes, so I understand the way you grow a podcast is by having guests.
Oh,
But I don't rule.
we're
out,
not growing.
I don't rule out having guests,
Right.
but I'm trying to avoid having guests. Quite honestly,
Here's what I would add on to what you're saying. It's not like we're not having guests like we think we've cracked the code.
right?
It's just this is the easiest way to do it where there won't be any distractions. It's hard enough for me to listen, and every week I have to learn about listening again. And but if we did, I would vote on it being members of the family, like
Right.
Joe Madison and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I just.
But I'm not. Do we really need him to drag us down? Come on.
Well, I mean, there's going to be a time probably
We will.
when we look at each other and go, okay, we've repeated every story twice now.
Oh, well, then I'll have costumes. Then I'll have departments on the show.
But at some point, I don't want to do a radio show. You know what I mean?
No.
So,
I want to do several shows where we explain why we're not going to have guests. Just like
Okay.
hours of discussion.
Hours of
about
it? Okay.
Like Krishnamurti style discussions.
okay. So you just shut me down.
No, I'm doing a thing now that you could see as shutting you down. I prefer to say it like I stop talking and then try to have a neutral face so that I'm not dominating all the time.
Right. Luke Hawley, again, do either of you want to tell us about a horrible, awful sexual experience? That's what my wife said
Which one's
on my...
wedding night? Let's start.
I wasn't going to say that.
I think I would do better if I described the sexual experiences that weren't horrible.
It would
Those-
be shorter.
Well, I'm not afraid to. I think I used to be afraid to say this, and I don't know if I have said it before, but all of my early sexual experiences were bad because I was worried about it, and so if you think about impotence, you can literally make your penis not do anything. That was my trick I did as a musician.
Psyching yourself out.
Yes, and you've never seen this penis before, right? I would say it would date. We've never met before, right? Yes. No. Is it not flaccid? Yes. I don't remember the whole routine. I've had bad ones. The early years were bad, just in general. How good could they be? How about you?
All good.
But
I mean, no, I don't have any stories I want to tell. No.
why would you want to have a story? Hey, have you had the range of problems? I've had premature.
Yeah.
I've had the I can't stop my leg. My wife Susan said something very funny. We can't remember what the whole thing was. She was just explaining something. She goes, he does that, you do this, and then it's Jimmy Crack Corn. It just came from nowhere. By the way, if there's anything you need to talk about with your wife, or that I need to talk about with my wife,
Yeah.
this is the place to talk about it because they'll never hear the show.
It's true. It's a safe space. Justin E., who would each of you pick to play you in a bio about Thought Spiral, and who would you pick to play your co-host? Well, clearly Andy would pick Zach Galifianakis to play his co-host.
You mean the guy I'm imagining I'm talking to
Yes.
during the whole show?
Yes.
Now, I could be funny and say Steve Gutenberg. Not that funny. Or I could
don't know.
be hacky.
I don't know if both could happen. If you could be funny and say Steve Gutenberg, but let's see.
Like that guy who played on Northern Exposure, but I don't like him anymore. What's his name? The Scrubs guy, your hero? Your hero. I'd like to see.
Andy would be played by Wally Shawn in a wig.
Did you know I saw?
It's preposterous.
Did I tell you I met Wally Shawn?
No.
He was in the Zawa. I didn't meet him. Okay, I didn't meet him.
I think you told me.
Yeah, I wanted to meet him. Oh my God, I love Wally Shawn.
Well, he's playing you.
He would play me, and my co-host would be Kevin Smith. I don't know what I'm saying.
I look like Kevin Smith.
No, you'd be some George Burns. I don't know. I didn't have a good answer to the question, and I'm making it worse.
Zach Galifianakis and Wally Shawn.
That's it.
There we go. Let's see. Seth Dick has a bunch this week. Let me just find one. How many of the Great Lakes have you seen?
The ones you can see from Chicago and Michigan.
In the big lake they call Gitche Gimme.
Was he trying to make that song like a really horrible seafaring song? From the lakes of Shamshumi.
Yes. Yes, he was.
So what did I see? Lake Michigan? And in Chicago, what did I see? Lake Chicago, Michigan?
That's like Michigan, yeah. Is that it?
So, what are the other ones? The Erie? Lake Erie?
Erie, Superior, Ontario, Huron.
I heard Ricky Gervais's favorite lake is Lake Superior. I laughed at my own joke and still enjoyed it. How many have you seen?
I've seen them all.
I don't know about you. I'm going to have to check on some of your stories.
I've seen them all. I've seen Lake Ontario from Toronto. I've seen Lake Huron from Port Huron. I've been on Lake Superior many times.
Where would I go there to see?
Duluth, you'd see it.
I've seen that, and I've seen the one you said from Toronto. I've never seen the river there, but I'm sure there is.
I've seen Lake Erie from Cleveland.
Okay, yeah. So you know geography. I mean, it's a big advantage. In the lake,
still didn't get a good story
from Gitchigumi.
Fellas, it's been good to know you.
I heard a system shut off. Is that your AC?
I don't know.
Oh, I never asked you, but don't say it on the air, but do you have a good AC guy? 'Cause
We do. They're good but expensive, kind of.
but you know they're good.
But they're solid, yeah.
All right. Write it down. Write it down right there. The name of it. I'll remember. I'll remember to ask you.
Darren M. Crilly wants to know, what's the average recovery time after one gets kindlered?
Oh, forget it. First of all, your socks have been blown off.
Right.
So there's a lot of leg injuries.
Right. Foot burns, skin grafts.
You just got served. So sometimes you'll be like a tennis ball indentation in your neck.
Yeah. Kindler shaped.
Kindler shaped. Oh, it's very hard. First of all, you never do on a certain level recover from the humiliation.
It's true.
When you get kindlered.
I'm permanently wounded.
You just got kindlered.
Sorry, but you've just been kindlered.
Is the word Gitchigumi in that song?
Yes, it is. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down in the big lake they call Gitchigumi.
Oh my God! Was that did he ever lose that? Because that doesn't sound like Sundown to me. That song. It doesn't have the same seafaring feel.
Sundown, you better take care, 'cause I catch you down, falling down my backstair.
Is he still alive?
I believe he is.
And Lightfoot is a Native American name, I think. You know how have I ever made the point? Have I ever made the contention that I can ad lib at any moment? Because what I never added to that was I can come up with the worst thing to say at any moment.
You don't just yes and, you yes, but why?
Yes, but why? And after my improv games, nobody wants to continue life, let alone the conversation.
Emilia Fox, if Martin Scorsese offered either of you a role in his next film, but the role required you to do full frontal nudity, would you take the part? No body doubles or prosthetics allowed, but Andy can use makeup to cover his Shorty's Pizzeria tattoo.
The thing is, you had me at Martin Scorsese. Of course, I don't have any movie credits. I don't care if Martin Scorsese wants me to do full frontal, back frontal, up frontal, down. I would do anything for a Martin Scorsese movie.
I would do, if it was an actual role.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do scared fat guy in shower, but I would do, if it was an actual role, like 5 lines or more. I'd show my dick for Martin Scorsese.
If they promised that he would use Layla once again. He's used Layla.
I want patches for mine.
But he has used Layla more than once, right? I think. It's in Goodfellas.
Yeah, and?
Oh, shut up, all of you. All of you, shut up. Gitchigumi.
Greg Kelly wants to know, when's the last time you wore a backwards baseball cap?
I have never worn one, except as a joke.
Yeah.
How about you?
I probably did, if in a non-sketch.
Yeah.
Probably 1982.
I did.
I was 11 in 1982.
I forgot that I did it for 3 years when I was a catcher in the Little League.
Right. But non-ironically, not since 1982.
And do they still, the catchers, put their hats on backwards? I think they do.
No, they wear helmets.
On top of the hat, though? No, they don't, you stupid idiot.
Dana Schwartz, you said you had questions from all the regulars. She means, I think, last week when I was reading. I'm a small, not a regular, but still can't always come up with a question. Too much stress. Please don't take it personally. I know Andy won't.
See, that's all the
sounds like it was him taking it personally.
That's all the style of my kind of comedy. You do the joke, you explain it, you assume others will get upset, and you call them out.
Yes. Check, check, check.
How many times do you say
check?
Did you? How many times at your wedding during your words that you prepared for Allison, your own speech, did you say, "Look, she checked all the boxes"? Do you think I did too much preparation for that joke? Just the right amount, or you wish none of this had happened?
I'm going with the C.
Hey, cha-cha. Hey, choo-choo. And you know what that sound means, Andy? That means you're going into your Dennis Miller.
Miller on the sixes.
What if we record...
Hey, there's a lot of traffic on the 405, cha-cha. Careful. There's a signal alert.
Hey,
We'll be back at 12 after. It's Miller on the sixes. Meh.
There's something going on at the El Toro. Why? I say, I can't even do it, but it's such a...
There's a real backup in the grapevine. I'll be back at 6:18. This is Miller on the sixes.
Hey. Hey, Steve Miller on the sixes. I'm resentful of
Steve
foreigners.
Miller on the sixes.
Some
Dennis
people
Miller.
call me the space cowboy, Choochie. Some call me the gangster of love. I'll be back at 6:42.
Beep. Hey, I'm Dennis Miller. I don't like foreigners. Beep. On the sixes. I don't like people. I'm Dennis. It's Dennis. Hey, hi.
You're like leaving Dennis Miller's answering machine message now.
Doop. You're Dennis. Love your new show.
Hey, you got Denny's voicemail. Leave a message at the back.
Hey. You've reached Dennis Miller's dancing lesson. Do you want to do the cha-cha-cha-cha? Hey, cha-cha. I teach cha-cha-cha-cha.
I'll be back at 6 after. Bye.
Yes, Dennis Miller, what you teach dancing lessons. What kind of dances do you teach?
I do the cha-cha-cha-cha.
I know you weren't crazy about doing the bit, but you still did it. The cha-cha-cha. He said cha-cha.
No, I prefer the merengue.
And merengue is from the movie
Tin Men, Bucci.
Bocho. Hey. I got Dick Cheney. Here's tired Dennis Miller. And this guy's like a guy who read a very long book with many pages. Choo-choo. Hey, Dennis Miller on the sixes. Poor people are horrible humans.
See you at 6:12. Bang.
David Gogo, are you lads still enjoying the podcast? Doing the podcast? I hope so.
I'm glad he said that because right when he asked, I couldn't have been having more fun.
It really was a good time. Yeah, Miller on the sixes really kind of brought me back.
Miller on the sixes with your patented. No, bata. That'd be another one. Miller on the sixes, bata. He does that all the time. Bata.
But,
He's another guy who is angry because he was always a terrible stand-up. Delivery-wise, he's funny. I can't like him again from the 90s. I can't. I don't have to defend him anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, let's go watch stuff from his in the 90s and revision his histories.
You want to revise that?
Justin E. says, what's an ideal Saturday?
An ideal Saturday for me, every day is Saturday for me.
True.
Because I don't really work for a living. I like sleeping in, and I'm going to like sleeping in even more with the CPAP machine.
Right.
I think. It's still weird to use a CPAP machine, but I'm hoping. I don't like to do anything. I like to get up very late
Yeah.
and not do anything. I like to watch politics. What's your perfect Saturday?
Well, I like to get it to the synagogue around 9. Couldn't keep a straight face. I don't have. It's kind of the same for me. I have no structure. I don't look for structure.
Do you put on your Saturday pants like Janine Garofalo used to
I
say?
hope to get something done on a Saturday.
Do you putter around the garage with your tools?
I putter with my tool.
Oh, Josh, why did you? Could we have a very clean show up to that point?
Why did I work blue?
I puttered with my tool. I'll be back at 6:22. That's not a 6, but I'm early.
Hey, Cha-Cha, why don't you just stay home with me? What are you driving around for, Cho-Cho?
Chris Woods, would Andy and Josh do a complete reading of Who's on First as the characters in the Mr. Weinstein verse?
I would be willing. That I think would be a funny idea if someone would. But the only way it would work is if we wrote it out. So I don't think we're going to do it.
Yeah, probably not going to happen.
Mr. Weinstein, come in here immediately. Immediately.
Yes, Mr. Kindler, is it true what I hear about all these players these days and their strange names?
Wouldn't we switch it to an office-based bit? Mr. Weinstein, where is Eddie Stapler? Something like that. I need the stapler, and that the name of the stapler is I need the stapler. Okay, Mr. Weinstein, I need the stapler.
Okay, I'll get you the I need you the stapler.
We're the worst at everything when we combine it, I think.
Yeah, together we're nothing. Tommy Barcanero, thank you both for consistently delivering a wonderful podcast every Monday.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Can Josh do an impression of Marv Albert commenting on the quality of this week's conversation? Yes, I can. It's been a shitstorm from day one. He came in late. He talked about being late. It was a score of shit.
Not what they had in mind.
Not what they had in mind.
I'd be saying that every 10 minutes.
I'm back to the sweet taste of backflesh. It all comes back.
Anything but.
It always comes back to this. The sweet taste of backflesh. Yes.
Is that because he did a thing with backflesh?
Because he got the scandal from the 80s.
I feel bad for everyone concerned. Huh?
I don't know. That was
you think we're done?
I think I was done with that.
Well, now,
that question.
Oh, okay.
We're far from.
Are you kidding me? According to me, we've been nothing but funny.
Showbiz Studios. Not even Alex. He's full on Showbiz. When can your actual production company? Can they ask a question and have it not actually just be writing the show?
I buy that there's a company over there of people who have questions.
Showbiz Studios. Did you watch the Stormy Daniels interview last night? And if so, how do you think Huell Hauser would react to it? I thought it was fantastic. I thought there's no doubt in the world that some thug threatened her life. It was fantastic.
It's amazing.
Hey, Louie, did you get her getting threatened by the thug? I thought the way that she talked about spanking him with a picture of his kids was really charming.
Wait a second now. I didn't realize the implications of that. What was she smacking him with?
A Forbes magazine, which had a picture of him and his kids on the cover.
Oh, my God. Now, do you... I believe her story, but do you think that part happened, or do you think she's got it right?
I think it's absolutely accurate.
You know, I'm starting to have second thoughts about this Trump feller.
I got nothing for that. Christy W. wants to know, 1, who are your favorite British comedians, apart from Stuart Lee? Americans always say Stuart Lee.
I love Stuart Lee. I think my favorite is Steve Coogan. Oh, that was my stomach. That's fine. Your stomach made that noise?
That's fantastic, the way you sound like a monster.
I think Steve Coogan's my favorite, and right now is my favorite. But there's so many incredible English people.
Right.
I've loved everyone from Dudley Moore to Monty Python to...
I thought you were going to go from Dudley Moore to Samuel Less. Number 2, interested to hear why so many comedians seem to hate crowd pleaser comedians. Surely the beloved 50s, 60s comedians were crowd pleasers, Buddy Hackett et al.
I don't think it's the matter of how well you do. It's why you're doing well. Like Brian Regan is a crowd pleaser, meaning that the percentage of people who will laugh at his jokes is a higher percentage that will laugh at most comedians' jokes, and he's losing no quality. It's just that he's
right,
that
but he's
popular.
not the problem.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I don't think people are complaining about Brian Regan.
What did I missed the complaint that's under.
Well, I mean, it's interesting why so many comedians seem to hate crowd pleaser comedians. But I don't think Brian Regan's among those.
No.
Because he does accessible material, but it's original and funny.
I guess I should have said it this way. He's an example of a crowd pleasing comedian, and comedians love him.
Right.
That's what.
But she's asking why comedians have a problem with it, and it's because they're getting away with something.
Yeah, it's why they're getting the laughs.
It's because we all know that can work.
If I said
it's
you,
like there's a baseline amount of what we know will work, and they're doing the baseline amount. What makes it an art is accepting those things work and then trying to go somewhere else. And that's the difference between the 50s and 60s comedians and modern comedians, and that's when it switched. That's why Lenny Bruce and Richard Pryor and Carlin were breakthrough acts, and that's when comedy changed, is because they were talking about new things that were outside of the realm of my mother-in-law,
right?
Or jokes that were written for you. These were guys writing their own shit about their own lives, and it wasn't a generic act. But that's what raised it to another level as an art form, and
yes.
That's what people have been chasing and trying to build on ever since. Not Buddy Hackett, and
Well, the thing about
we're standing on all their shoulders, but that's the switch. The switch was writing, much like in music. When songwriters started doing their own shit, it became a lot more interesting.
Right. So I would say that any time you hear a comedian complaining about a crowd-pleasing comic, he's not complaining because he did well with the crowd in that moment.
Right.
He's talking about the techniques he uses to do well. Like, for example, if I said to you, what do you do for a living? And you say, nothing. I go, how do you know when you're done? That's a funny line, but it's not funny to comics who know that the line is 40 years old.
Right.
So sometimes it could be a funny line that the guy stole or that the guy's doing.
Right, but I don't even think it's, it's not always hacky. It's not always stolen that makes someone a crowd, like Dane Cook was someone who wasn't stealing shit,
No, I mean, let me say, in the negative side of crowd pleaser.
Right.
Let's all accept that you can be crowd pleasing and be a great comic. There's nothing wrong inherently with pleasing the crowd.
Right.
It's when you're pleasing them for the wrong reasons, which can be.
It's when you're being a cheerleader instead of a comedian a lot of the time. I mean, that I think was the sort of basic complaint about Dane Cook, is that
yes.
he was spraying a bunch of big attitude on kids,
right?
But there wasn't any content to it. There wasn't any there. There was just a lot of energy and a lot of attitude, and no there. It was just cheerleading.
It's just like when alternative comedy started in the 90s. There've been movements before that, but it was just more of an identifier than it's like when people go, well, what is alternative comedy? Well, it's nothing specifically.
Right.
It just described that if I said, what did you think about this act? It was a little crowd pleasy. You would know when
But that bar was super high in that scene. Like if you did anything that seemed like a stand-up joke,
yeah,
that was hacky almost in that.
Oh yeah,
arena,
people went the other, and that's right. I always feel people went the wrong way with the elitism of alternative. Right. To me, there's no difference between Brian Regan and anybody else. It's not like, oh, I like him, and he's crowd pleaser. No, I just like him.
Right.
I don't know what's the matter with me. I think I did okay on that question.
You did all right.
Not my
You
best.
kind of you hung on Brian Regan a little hard.
I know, because
he's not a good example of
no. The thing was, he was an example of someone who's plow creasing, and it's not bad. But that I couldn't stop the fact in my mind that I thought you had the wrong perception, or I didn't say it right. So then I get obsessed with, I want people to know I love Brian Regan, and it's not good radio.
But like Pete Lee in my movie, I Need You to Kill, available on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. He's a crowd-pleasing act, but he's really funny, and he writes good jokes, and, but he plays colleges and does great, but his, he's super friendly, and he's,
Right.
he's got an act that is designed to be a crowd pleasing act, but it's not like it's very similar to Brian Regan in that regard.
Yeah.
It's well crafted, and it's legit
It's not some-
legit joke writing, but it's not challenging the audience to, it's not putting anger into the
Yeah, that's not his thing, in a way, right?
Yeah,
That's not. Oh, I got confused.
it's feel good comedy.
Yes, but
Which
it used to be in the '90s. It was like you could see people going to the dark side, just doing anything to get the crowd laughing.
yeah, and colleges can do that to you too.
Yeah.
Because you're alone, so there's not other comics judging what bullshit you're doing, and you've got a room full of kids that you have to please.
I think in general, as a philosophy, I don't think if you spend too much time worrying about how well you did and whether you're pleasing the crowd, you can get an act that's more mainstreamy if the act does not permit any moments that aren't killing. You know what I mean? I think some acts, they go, oh, this kills, more, that type of thing.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and that works on the road. That's a nice thing to have when you're playing Funny Bone.
Yeah, except I can't do it.
I don't have that either, but neither of us have that. But but it is. That's the temptation, is to have that because it's like a security blanket.
Well, I did that one night when the Steve Higgins experience, where I was
Right.
tried to be up tempo and crowd pleasing, but it felt terrible. I literally killed, and it felt awful.
Right.
As opposed to normally, where I'm happy with the set and the crowd feels awful.
Yeah, it's not as funny when you do it. Michelle Wisecarver,
Yay!
just a comment tonight. I've been near obsessed with comedy since I was 11 when I first saw Richard Pryor live in concert. People like you two are why I continue to study it and read about it and watch it and love it. Thank you both from my heart.
That makes me very happy. That kind of a comment makes me very happy because that really is the whole goal of the show, without getting too self-referential, is...
You had a goal of the show all along?
No,
and you haven't
just
shared-
having a conversation that would be interesting to listen to, basically.
Right.
And that's what I loved about podcasts like Marin Show, where we talked about comedy. Is like, I'm always dying to hear. I love to hear how people in other creative fields or any field got their, their. I'm not describing it very interestingly.
I think what this show has become is just the recorded version of our friendship.
Yes.
It's not like we talk to each other outside the show anymore. So you're hearing our whole friendship.
Well,
now.
that's not. That's a. Don't go by
with questions.
Yeah.
So thank you, Michelle Wisecarver, and thank you for all the support of all the things that she always retweets things.
Yeah, she's
she
great.
always recommends the movie and the box
Yeah.
that she's been.
It makes me very
So we
happy.
really appreciate that support. And
Well, that's the thing too. The one thing I wanted to say was the reason why I think that
I'm not saying the rest of you don't, but she does it.
Well,
She does it extra.
I'm
a
not
little
happy
extra.
with. I'm not happy with the rest of them. It's like the thing about doing the podcast is that because I didn't have incredible expectations for it beforehand, even to the point of, oh, everyone's doing one and you're going to do it, because that passed that wave where everyone was doing it,
Right.
Because everyone was doing it. I think one of the things that makes it more fun is I'm not putting. When it goes well, I'm trying not to put pressure on myself to do anything.
Right.
And that's and the fact that we don't have to use it to make a living. Obviously, it means I'm doing it because I want to do it. But then it is great that these people enjoy it too. And this is not how I usually sound.
Phil says my new favorite bit on Thought Spiral is when Andy does his imitation of Josh's imitations of other people. Do my Hugh Hauser.
That's fantastic. Good. Merry Christmas, yo savings and loan. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter. Hey ho, hey ha 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 ho, and the man they say the ho ho ha ha ho. Hey ho.
Was that the baby?
Yeah.
Okay. Flattery. That's just flattery. That's pure flattery.
Flattery, yeah. I really don't like
Impressions of impressions are the sincerest form of flattery.
You can. I forgot. Forgot for the 9,000th time.
It's the end of the world as we know it, a.k.a. MSTK 3K for life, says, let Andy know I'd be happy to sit around and sing songs from Jesus Christ Superstar with him anytime if Josh won't do it.
Yes, exactly.
Josh won't do it.
He's somebody who cares about me. Is it a he or she? Who is it?
I think I don't know. It's the end of the world as we know it.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the name.
Yeah.
Hey, that'll be our, when we do the Who's On First, we'll just do Twitter handles.
Yes. And occasionally I'll just stop and go, Leonard Bernstein.
I got a great tweet today from I'd like to punch you in the face right now, Josh, and if it was acceptable socially that I strangled you till you were dead, I would do it right now.
Someone said that to you?
No, that's the name of the Twitter account.
I should have cared what you were saying.
I should have cared. I don't want to. I've never said this to myself before, but I wish I'd listened to what you just said.
Shecky Flop Sweat says, please, Andy, do some more of the fake attention-giving Chuck Todd. Andy, wanna? Hey, Andy, do some Chuck Todd for us. Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that when he fake listens?
Yeah, that's what he's going to
Uh-huh.
do.
Yes.
I'll be your guest.
So
I don't think that Trump is going to make it through more than anher month.
Yeah.
This term.
Yeah. I'm saying yeah. I hate myself and I hate you, but I'm saying yeah because you'll think that I'm listening to you.
So I don't think that with a legal team like this dwindling down to its very down
That's
to
all
one
the time.
dude, pretty much.
That's all the time we have for Sing Song Man. And tomorrow, more guests and more talking as if I'm being casual. But what it's really all about is I'm a horrible human being. And I'm trying to cover it up with casual talk. But I'm full of myself, and I'm not that bright. I'm Chuck Todd. Chuck Todd. I don't know why I turned it into like a whole thing.
You went Casey Kasem at the end there. Okay. I'm Chuck Todd.
I'm Chuck Todd.
I meet the press.
Anything but.
Anything but.
Anything but. That wasn't bad, right?
That wasn't
Let me
bad.
hear
That was
it.
a
Go
pretty good impression of me doing an impression.
Let me try again. Do anything but.
Apparently, he thought it would make him a big man. Anything but.
Apparently, he thought it would make him a big man. Anything but. Not as good. It doesn't have it. You have it, kid.
I've got it.
You've got it.
I've got it.
Don't even talk about it. Well, you just said I had it. You've ruined it.
I've got the
Phenomenal thing known as it.
So you have a store where you sell bait, and this is the bait you sell? That's fantastic. So people put this on the end of their hooks and they go fishing? That's amazing.
Stay with it. Come on, stay with it.
Oh, I didn't realize. I totally.
All right.
Who am I doing?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's over. I think we hit the wall.
I think we have with the wall.
All right. Thanks for listening to our
I love
show.
you
If you
guys.
want to talk to us via email, write us at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com.
We love recipe suggestions. We love things when you send virtual gifts like a poke.
Right. Follow us on Twitter at Andy Kindler, at Elvis Weinstein, and at Thought_Spiral. And check out my movie, I Need You to Kill. And,
I was on. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Why did I interrupt you? I'm on Portlandia.
But
An episode.
we talked about this last week, though, right?
Come on, Josh.
So
I
it's
just have
not.
the one
I'm just
thing.
saying. It's not,
Jesus Christ,
it's
Josh.
not in the future, right?
All right, so you have your movie. I was on Portlandia.
If and I think you can get it on demand.
On Netflix.
IFC on demand.
I love you, listeners.
What else?
What else?
There's other stuff.
Don't forget.
Yeah, review us on iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Are you pretending to die? Josh, you're pretending to... Josh, What's happened? Are you dead? Oh, my God. Mr. Weinstein, no!
I was kidding, Choochie. I'll be back at the 6.